The Long Winter by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Chapter 23, The Wheat in the Wall. In the morning, the snowdrift was gone. When Laura made the peephole in the upstairs window and looked through it, she saw bare ground. Blown snow was driving over the low clouds, but the street was hard brown earth. "Ma, Ma," she cried, "I can see the ground." "I know," Ma answered. "The wind blew all of the snow away last night." "What time is it? What month is it?" Laura asked stupidly. "It's the middle of February," Ma answered. Then spring was nearer than Laura had thought. February was a short month, and March would be spring. The train would come again, and they would have white bread and meat. "I am so tired of brown bread with nothing on it," Laura said. "Don't complain, Laura," Ma said. Ma told her to never complain of what you have. Always remember you are fortunate to have it. Laura had not meant to complain, but she did not know how to explain what she had meant. She answered meekly, "Yes, Ma." Then, startled, she looked at the wheat sack in the corner. There was so little wheat left in it, and it lay folded like an empty sack. "Ma," she exclaimed, "did you mean—" Pa had always said that she must never be afraid. She must never be afraid of anything. She asked, "How much more wheat is there?" "I think there is enough for today's grinding," Ma answered. "Pa can't buy any more, can he?" Laura said. "No, Laura. There's no more in town." Ma laid the slices of bread carefully on the open gate to toast them for breakfast. Then Laura braced herself. She steadied herself and she said, "Ma, will we starve?" "We won't starve, no," Ma replied. "If Pa must, he will kill Ellen and her heifer calf." "Oh, no, no," Laura cried. "Be quiet, Laura," Ma said. Carrie and Mary were coming downstairs to dress by the stove, and Ma went up to carry Grace down. Pa hauled hay all day and came in to the house only to say that he was going to Fuller's store for a moment. Before supper, when he came back, he brought news. There's a rumor in town that some settler 18 or 20 miles southwest of here raised some wheat last summer, and that he was wintering at his claim shanty. "Who says so?" Ma asked. "It's a rumor," Pa said again. "Nearly everybody says so. Nearest I can find out, Foster and this man had started. He says he heard it from somebody working on the railroad, some fellow that was passing through last fall and telling about the crop of wheat this settler had raised. He had 10-acre patch that must have run 30 to 40 bushels an acre. Says 300 bushels of wheat within 20 miles of here. I trust you aren't thinking of starting out on such a wild goose chase, Charles," Ma said. "A fellow might do it," Pa remarked. "With a couple of days of clear weather and no snowfall to hold up the sled, he ought to be able to make it." "No," said Ma. Pa looked at her startled. They all looked at her startled. They had never seen Ma look that way. She was quiet, but she was terrified. Quietly, she told Pa, "I say no. I do not take such a chance." "Why, Charles, your hauling hay is bad enough," Ma told him. "You don't go hunting for that wheat." Pa said mildly, "Not as long as you feel that way about it, I won't." "I won't hear any buts," Ma said. This time I'm putting my foot down. All right, that settles it, Pa agreed. Laura and Carrie looked at each other. They felt as if the thunder and lightning had come down from the suddenly and then had gone. Ma poured the tea with a trembling hand. Oh, Charles, I'm sorry. Never mind, said Pa. He poured the spilled tea from his saucer into the cup. A long time since I had to pour my tea in the saucer to cool it, he mentioned. I'm afraid the fire's going down, said Ma. It isn't the fire. The weather's turning colder, said Pa. You couldn't go anyway, Ma said. There'll be nobody to do the chores and nobody to haul hay. You're right, Caroline. You're always right, Pa assured her. We'll make out with what we have. Then he glanced at the corner of the wheat sack. He had said nothing about it until he had done the chores and twisted some hay. He laid down the armful of hay sticks by the stove and spread his hands to warm. Out of wheat, Caroline? He asked. Yes, Charles, Ma said. There's bread for breakfast. Running out of potatoes, it seems as though everything is giving out at once, Ma answered. But I have 6 potatoes for tomorrow. Where's the milk pail? Pa asked. The milk pail? Ma repeated. I'm going up the street for a few minutes, and I want the milk pail, Pa said. Laura brought him the milk pail. They could not help asking, Is there milk in town, Pa? No, Laura. He went through the front door, and they heard the front door shut. Almanzo and Royal were eating supper. Almanzo had a stack of pancakes with brown sugar, and he had made plenty of them. Royal had eaten half down of his stack. Almanzo was nearing the bottom of his, and one tall stack of 24 pancakes, dripped melted down with butter, was standing untouched when Pa knocked on the door. Royal opened it. Come in, Mr. Ingalls. Sit up and have some pancakes with us. Royal invited him. Thank you just the same. Could you be prepared to sell me some wheat? Pa asked, stepping in. Sorry, Royal said. We have no more to sell. Clean sold out, huh? Said Pa. Clean sold out, said Royal. I'd be willing to pay a pretty high price for some wheat, Pa said. I wish I had brought out another carload, Royal replied. Sit up and have some supper with us anyway, Monzo bragging on his pancakes. Pa did not answer. He walked to the end of the wall, lifted one of the saddles from the peg. Almanzo exclaimed, Hey, what are you doing? Pa held the milk pail firm against the wall. He pulled the plug out of the knothole. The round steam of the wheat as the large hole poured rattled into the pail. I'm buying some wheat from you boys, Pa answered Almanzo. Say, that's my seed wheat. I'm not selling it, Almanzo declared. We're out of wheat at my house, and I'm buying some, Pa replied. The wheat kept on pouring into the pail, sliding down the pail and trickling a little against the tin. Almanzo stood watching him, but after a minute, Royal sat down. He tipped the chair back against the wall, put his hands on his pockets, and grinned at Almanzo. When the pail was full, Pa thrust the plug into the hole. He tapped it firmly with his fist and then tapped lightly on the wall across it. You've got plenty of wheat there, he said. Now we'll talk price. What do you figure this pailful is worth? How did you know it was there? Almanzo wanted to know. The inside of this room doesn't fit the outside, said Pa. It's a good foot shorter, allowing for 2 by 4 studded besides, giving you 16-inch space there. Any man with an eye could see it. I'll be darned, said Almanzo. I noticed that the plug in the knothole the day you had the saddles off on the antelope hunt, Pa said. So I figured you had grain there. It's the only thing likely to run out of a knothole. Anybody in town know about it? Almanzo asked. Not that I know of, Pa said. See here, Royal put in. We didn't know you were out of wheat. That's Almanzo's wheat. It's not mine, but he wouldn't hang onto it if he saw to see anybody starve. It's my seed wheat, Almanzo explained. Extra good seed, too, and no telling either if the seed will be shipped in time for the planting this year. Of course, I won't see anybody starve, but somebody can go after that wheat that was raised south of town. Southeast, I heard, Pa said. I did think of going myself, but you can't go, Royal interrupted. Who'd take care of the folks if you got caught in a storm and got delayed or anything? This isn't settling what I'm going to be paying for your wheat, Pa reminded him. Almanzo waved that away. What's a little wheat between neighbors? You're welcome to it, Mr. Ingalls. Draw up a chair and sample those pancakes before they get cold. But Pa insisted on paying for the wheat. After some talk about it, Almanzo charged a quarter and Pa paid it. Then he did sit down, and they urged him, and lifting the blanket cake from the untouched pile, he slipped from under it a stack of hot, syrupy pancakes. Royal forked a brown slice of ham from the frying pan into Pa's plate, and Almanzo filled his coffee cup. You boys certainly live in the lap of luxury, Pa remarked. The pancakes were no ordinary butt cakes. Almanzo followed his mother's recipe to the rule, and they were light as foam, soaked with melted brown sugar and ham. It was sugar cured and hickory smoked from the Wilder's farm in Minnesota. I don't know when I've eaten a tastier meal, said Pa. They talked about the weather and hunting and politics, railroads and farming, and when Pa left, both Royal and Almanzo urged him to drop by often. Neither of them played checkers, so they didn't spend much time in the stores. Their own place was much warmer. Now you've found the way, Mr. Ingalls, come back, Royal said heartily. We'll be glad to see you in time. I get tired of each other's company. Drop in any time. The latch string is always out. I'll be glad to, Pa said, answering. He broke off and listened. Almanzo stepped out with him in the freezing wind, stars glistening overhead, but the northwest sky was going out rapidly. Here she comes, said Pa. I'll be doing a little visiting for a spell. Y'all just make it home if you can hurry. The blizzard struck the house when he had the door, and no one heard him come in. But they had little time to worry, for almost at once he came into the kitchen where they were all sitting in the dark. They were close to the stove and warm enough, but Laura was shivering, hearing the blizzard again and thinking that Pa was out in it. Here comes the wheat. Here is some wheat, Caroline, Pa said. She reached down to it and felt the kernels. Oh, Charles, she reckoned. I might have known you'd provide for us. But wherever did you get it? I thought there was no wheat left in town. I wasn't sure there was, but I didn't want to raise hopes or to be disappointed, Pa exclaimed. I agreed not to tell where I got it, but don't worry, Caroline. There's more where that came from. Come, Carrie, I'm going to put you and Grace to bed now, Ma said, with a new energy. When she came downstairs, she lighted the button lamp and filled the coffee mill. The sound of the grinding began again, and Laura and Mary climbed the cold stairs until they were lost in the howling blizzard.